Well, good morning, everybody. Cruiseman here, on my way back home from Midland, Texas, heading back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I had to pull off onto the service road because I couldn't get my Insta360 X3 to record. I don't know what was going on, but it's working now, so you should be able to see me in all my glory.
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
It's about 7:45 in the morning. I've been on the road for a little over an hour, and I wanted to wait until we started to get a little bit of daylight. It was a little dark when I left this morning from my brother's house. Okay, everybody, we are leaving Midland for the ride back home. Hard to get out of this driveway. It's quite a slope. And had a nice visit. We've had pretty good weather all week. It's about 90 degrees right now, but it feels cool. It does not feel hot. I am going to open up these little wings though to get a little more air on me. The weather today is overcast right now, which I like because it keeps the radiant heat of the sun off of me, and also keeps since I'm heading due east, if it's a clear day, I get the sun right in my eyes. So this helps filter that out so I don't have to worry about the bright sun hitting me in the eyes. Don't also have to worry about it blinding the people behind me. I'm going to get around this guy because I got a truck coming up behind me. I'm actually in between Big Spring and Sweetwater right now, and my first stop for gas will be in Sweetwater. I'll get off and stretch my legs, take a drink of water, fill up with gas. So this morning, I'm not going to be telling you too much about this boring ride, but I have got a couple of topics I want to talk about because I've been getting some comments lately, and people are asking once again about Darksiding. And apparently there are some YouTube influencers that are Honda Goldwings that have started using a car tire. For those of you that don't know what Darksiding is, in case you're kind of new to this whole world, it's referred to as you're riding on the dark side if you put a car tire on your motorcycle instead of a motorcycle tire. Now normally that's just on the rear tire, and there are automobile tires that will fit on the Honda Goldwing rim in the rear. So when you hear somebody talk about Darksiding, that's what they're talking about. These are people who put a car tire. Now, why, you might ask yourself, why do they put a car tire on a motorcycle? The first reason is a car tire is much less expensive. You could buy a good radial car tire for probably $100, maybe less, I don't know. A motorcycle tire might cost you $225, $230. The second reason is you get more mileage out of a car tire. Car tire can last 30,000 miles, maybe 40,000 miles. Whereas a motorcycle tire, usually you should change them out at about 10,000, 12,000 miles. Depends on the motorcycle. Some motorcycles average 5,000 or 6,000 miles. But on a Honda Goldwing, you can usually get about 10,000 miles out of a car tire. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the subject of Darksiding. Some people say it's less safe. Some people say that since a motorcycle was not designed, a car tire basically has a flat profile. It wasn't designed when you go around a turn for the sidewalls to flex and accommodate that type of a turn where you're leaning into a turn. Now, I've heard some people argue that they can't tell any difference in the handling with a car tire than they can with a motorcycle tire. I find that hard to believe. It seems, now, I think some people, they do notice a difference, but they say that you adjust to it pretty quickly. You kind of get used to it. But the controversy is that the car tire was not designed or engineered for those sidewalls to take that stress. But I have to say, there are a lot of people out there that run car tires on their motorcycle, and they've run them for many, many years with no issues. The other, I think, advantage they might argue to a car tire is that these are, I think, probably run flat tires. That if you had a flat tire, you would be less likely to lose control of your motorcycle than you would with a motorcycle tire if you had a blowout or a really catastrophic failure. Now, I've got about 250,000 miles on Honda Goldwings. I've never had a blowout. I've never had a catastrophic failure on a motorcycle tire. Personally, I am not interested in Darksiding. For me, I want to use a tire that was designed specifically for use on a motorcycle. That's just me. I understand the economics, and I think if I was putting 35 or 40,000 miles on a Goldwing every year, I'd think differently. Maybe I would think, oh, I'm starting to run into a lot of money to, I'm spending $1,500 to $2,000 a year on tires, and I could be spending $200 a year on tires. That's just something to think about. And for me, it does, by the time it's time for me to get a new set of tires, it's just not that much money compared to the cost of the motorcycle. I did speak to somebody one time that told me they were running a car tire on their rear tire, and they were on the tail of the Dragon, and they were going around a sharp turn, and the bead broke loose on the tire and it lost all the air in the middle of the turn. I don't know if that's even true, but I did hear that story from the person that it happened to. Obviously, it didn't kill him, but I think he did end up going down on the bike. Again, I'm sure that's probably a rare occurrence, if at all. But it is a story that I heard, and it kind of added to my shying away from using a car tire. Now, there are also people that run a car tire on their front tire along with the back tire, and that's called double Darksiding. Those tires, the profile and the tread on those tires and the sidewalls on those tires are really not made to lean. Now, I can see one exception, and that would be if you're riding a trike, because if you have a trike, your front wheel does not lean. It does turn on a plane. So I can see where running a car tire, because you're already running car tires on your two wheels in the back on a trike, I don't see any reason why you maybe couldn't put a car tire on the front. But again, I'm not qualified to make that recommendation because I don't know enough about it. That's my thought on Darksiding and double Darksiding. Now, I did receive an email, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this topic is I did receive an email from one of my YouTube subscribers or followers. I believe it's the state of Virginia. It's either Virginia or West Virginia. I think it's Virginia. Has recently passed a law or a regulation that they are no longer going to issue a state inspection on a motorcycle that has a car tire installed. So there is one state that is already saying you're not going to pass inspection if you're running a car tire. Now, I don't know what happens if you get stopped on your motorcycle in the state of Virginia or West Virginia, whichever it is, and you're running a car tire. I don't know that they give you a ticket for that. I don't know how it would affect your insurance. I suspect that even outside of the state of Virginia, if you have an accident on your motorcycle and your insurance company finds out that you've been running a car tire, or that if they come to inspect your bike after an accident and you're running a car tire, they may void your warranty. Not your warranty, they may void your insurance claim. I don't know. And if any of you have had this experience, let me know in the comments down below. Have any of you ever had a situation where an insurance company refused to pay a claim because you're not running a motorcycle tire, you're running a car tire? Now, I'm going to say the same might be true of a warranty claim. Insurance companies and warranty companies, especially if you're using a third-party warranty, they're always looking for any excuse they can find to not pay a claim. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you have made any type of an insurance claim or a warranty repair claim and it's been denied because you had a car tire installed on your motorcycle. I'd be really curious to know that. I think it'd be good information. I'm not anti-darksiding. In other words, I think it's your right to do whatever you want to do. If you want to put a car tire on your motorcycle, I have no problem with that. It doesn't affect me. Anything you do on your motorcycle has no impact on my quality of life or how I ride my motorcycle. I just want people that are considering this to have all the information. Do your research before you run out. I know there's a lot of dealers that won't even put a car tire on a motorcycle. They won't install it for you. You might have to go to a car tire shop and have them do it, because there are motorcycle dealers that simply won't do it because they don't want the liability. And that doesn't mean by that doesn't necessarily mean it's more dangerous. It just means they're putting something on your motorcycle that was not designed for a motorcycle. So they don't know. They don't want to take that risk. They don't want that liability. So anyway, I'm always open to your comments. I know I'm going to get comments from people who say, hey, I've been running a motorcycle. I've been running a car tire for 25 years. I've never had an issue. I know that. Somebody is going to say, I've put hundreds of thousands of miles on my motorcycle with a car tire. I get that. I know that exists. I know that's a real thing. I'm just telling you why I choose not to do it. Economics. I can afford a motorcycle tire. That's not a problem. Even if I had to put new tires on my bike 3 times a year, 4 times a year. I'm fortunate enough that I can afford to do that. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd be real curious to know your take on this topic.
A few moments later.
Well, I am in Eastland, Texas. I just filled up with gas again. Not getting great mileage. Now, I am heading into a pretty stiff wind. Actually, it's a crosswind today. The other day, when on my way out to West Texas, I actually had the wind sort of at my back. Kind of a cross back wind, you might say. Boy, this thing is tough to get in. Anyway, today I'm heading more into the wind with a crosswind, kind of heading out of the south, hitting me from the right side, and occasionally hitting me head on. Pretty strong wind. I'd say 30-mile-an-hour gusts. It doesn't look bad right now, but when you get on the road, you notice it. So it's been a little less mileage. My first fill up, I got a little over 40, and this fill up, it showed I'm getting about 37 and a half, which is about what I got on the way out. I had, I think I had one fill up on the way to Midland where I got like 42. I'll put it on the screen. And then the last two fill ups I got were only like 37 something. So not great. This is my last stop before getting back home. I usually stop once I get home and fill up with gas one more time, just so I have a full tank of gas once I put the bike in the garage. So we're on our way from Eastland. Traffic has been a little heavier today than it was on the way out. It is Saturday. I came out on Monday, and surprisingly, even though it's a Saturday, I have seen fewer motorcycles today than I saw on Saturday. So we probably have 130. Well, here's a sign right here. To Fort Worth is 96 miles, and then I probably have another 35 miles from there to get home. Traffic has been heavier today than it was on the way out, which again is a little bit of a surprise. I've seen more semis, big trucks. But other than the wind, it's a pretty pleasant day. It's about, right now it says it's 89 degrees outside. But with this cloud cover, it's not bad. It's not uncomfortable. It's actually feels kind of nice. It's just the wind is a little bit of a hassle. I mean, for a ride on Interstate 20, I guess it's about as good as I could hope for. Bike's running perfect, other than the substandard fuel mileage. I guess it's still not bad. We'll see what the average is for the entire trip once I get home. You know, if I could average 40 miles to the gallon, I'd be happy. But I don't know if I'm going to quite get to 40 miles to the gallon. You can probably start to hear the wind now. I'll go ahead and get around this truck because he's kicking up a lot of wind on me. I've been keeping the bike pretty much on 75 miles an hour. I do have my windshield all the way up, which is a F4 Customs 20-inch with a recurve at the top. That could be part of the reason for the mileage drop. That's one thing I do like about a modular helmet as opposed to a full-face helmet, is if you need to sneeze, you can lift up the modular part. With the full face, you just kind of sneeze right into the chin guard. So when I get back to my office and my home, I've got a couple of videos I'm working on. I'm working on another video for Pathfinder LED. I've got some new sequential turn signals for the front that I'm going to be showing you. Should be pretty cool. I'll be doing an installation video on that. I already have an installation video on it, but I'm going to redo the video, update it a little bit. It's probably been several years since I did the previous one, so you'll get a brand new video. I'm also reviewing a couple of pressure washers from Fantic, and I will be finishing up that review. And of course, I'll be doing my final review ride on the NT1100, where I'll do a motovlog from the bike and talk to you about my impressions of riding impressions and all that. And I'll be finishing up that NT1100 review video, or at least the first one. I may do a second review, a second video, I should say. See how popular the first one is. There's a lot of interest from those of you on my channel about the NT1100. Many of you have asked me, could this be an alternative to a Honda Goldwing or a second bike if you own a Honda Goldwing? You know, who is the bike good for? We're going to cover all of that in that video, or what my impression and my opinion is. We're also going to do a comparison of the NT1100 to an Africa Twin. So if you've been kind of toying with the idea of getting one or the other of those bikes, we're going to go into good detail on how it compares to the Africa Twin, because there are differences. Same engine, but there's a lot of other differences. So I'm going to finish up this video today before I get home, and I'm going to thank you for joining me on this motovlog and this ride. I always appreciate you following me. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up, because that, more than anything else, really does help my YouTube rankings, as well as putting your comments in down below. So thank you again, and I will see you on the next Cruiseman's motovlog or Cruiseman's review.